Hello there. Welcome to the tavern. If you're here, you'd probably call yourself a tabletop gamer of some sort or another. Maybe you're new to the hobby, maybe you've been in it for a while, or maybe the YouTube algorithm and a catchy thumbnail and title just happened to snag your attention long enough to skip through the timestamps to see if you agree with the games in this list or not. Let us know if you do, by the way. That's what the comment section's for. But wherever you are on your board gaming journey, one struggle I think we can all relate to is convincing your friends and family members who aren't board gamers to sit down long enough to learn the rules for something they've never heard of and see how much fun they are. And the best way to do that is to find the right games to introduce them to. Gateway games, if you will. Yeah, that doesn't sound nefarious at all. Here are some of the best games to introduce non-gamers to board games. Number 10. I'm putting this list together based on what I think is the best first game to introduce people to. So the stuff that's at the bottom of it may or may not be great games to start somebody off with at the very beginning, but they might be stuff to progress to a little later on. That's definitely the case with number 10. Pandemic. One of the most well-known co-op games ever released, this is a good one for showing people who aren't familiar with modern board games that it's not all about screwing each other over and trying to get luckier dice rolls. It's a difficult enough game that you may run the risk of frustrating certain personality types, but it's also simple enough that it should be relatively easy to teach, and it can introduce people to some mechanics that have been repurposed in a lot of other games in a very approachable way. Number 9. This next one may not seem like it makes a ton of sense on this list, but hear me out. Bonanza. The biggest hurdle you'll face in teaching this one to new gamers is the rule that requires you to keep the cards in your hand in the same order. But I've seen firsthand how this game can captivate a group of people who don't play a lot of board games for hours at a time. I got sick of this game because my non-gamer friends only ever wanted to play this or Codenames for like 2 years straight. And honestly, there are way worse games they could have gotten hooked on. Bonanza's a nice way to ease into competitive board games since it requires you to barter with each other. Explaining the rules to very new gamers could be tough, so you may want to start with something ranked a little higher on the list and move to this one a little later on. Number 8. One of the best types of games to lure in non-gamers is a party game. And for my money, the best party game out there is Deception Murder in Hong Kong. Non-gamers have likely played other types of party games, like Cards Against Humanity or something. A social deduction game like this one can help guide them more towards the type of games that people who are deeper into this hobby prefer. And there is simply no better social deduction game than Deception. It's easy to learn, with very few special roles to navigate, and even the people I've played this with who get anxious when they're dealt the bad guy card in other social deduction games don't mind it so much in Deception, because the gameplay lends itself to bluffing your way out of trouble much, much easier. I've seen this game salvage a game night that was going awry with players who weren't ready for the slightly heavier stuff we started with, so I'm confident this is a good one to kickstart somebody's love of board games. Number 7. Modern board games can be so much more than people may think. A great game to give them a nice sample platter of a lot of out-of-the-box mechanics is Paranormal Detectives. This is definitely not one you want to send to a family of non-gamers as a Christmas present. You're going to want to be able to be there to play it with them on their first few games. But you can surprise some people with how this game can scratch different types of puzzle-solving itches all in one neat package. Number 6. Board games have come a long way with their visual appeal. A great way to capture a new gamer's attention is to wow them with a game that's got great table presence. And one game that I think has that, while also being simple enough to teach to a newcomer, is Block and Key. The concept of a board game has a subconscious two-dimensional connotation to it for a lot of people, and this game forces you to think in 3 dimensions at all times. But it's also a game that's not likely to intimidate a non-gamer with a complex strategy element. A surprisingly good game that's easy to learn with a low skill cap and looks great on the table. Number 5. Even non-gamers are familiar with the concept of poker. This next game is perfect for luring poker players into our world, while also being simple enough to not scare away the other normies. Coup. I became the de facto game master of all my family gatherings because I introduced this game to all my nieces and nephews about 8 or 9 years ago, and they've all trusted my recommendations ever since. This game is short and sweet, which means as soon as everybody's learned it, they won't stop playing for hours. Save the expansions and spin-offs for a while, keep it simple, stick with the base game, but this is a game I truly don't think you can go wrong with. Number 4. A good theme can really do a lot of heavy lifting for you when you want to show somebody what board games are all about. Mysterium is a game that has a great theme, simple mechanics, and is fully cooperative. 2 potential hurdles you'll run into with this one. First, the setup time can scare new gamers away if you're not careful, so do your best to get it on the table quickly. Second, you'll really do well to have at least one more player at the table with a little bit of tabletop experience. One of you will need to play as the ghost for your first game, and that makes answering questions without breaking the rules challenging. But I think the vast majority of people you'll introduce this one to are gonna love it. Number 3. If Coup is a little too aggressive for you, or your non-gamer friends, you might try a bluffing game with a lighter touch. Sheriff of Nottingham is a fantastic, light little bluffing game. And if your group happens to be a bunch of theater kids, it's also a nice opportunity for a light intro to role-playing. That second part is, of course, optional, but having seen several different interrogation styles at work with different players taking a turn at sheriff, many of them actors at one point in their lives or another, there is a ton of room for you to entertain people with some antics while you teach them a simple and fun board game. Number 2. With non-gamers, I think co-op is king. And doing some co-op detective work is an easy way to put their brains to work without inundating them with rules. Chronicles of Crime is a fantastic co-op mystery game. And the best part is, the game largely teaches itself. Load up that tutorial mission in the app and turn them loose. And as soon as they got a handle on things, pull up any one of the missions you haven't done already, and you can all enjoy a little mixed medium co-op board gaming for a couple hours. One of the absolute best board games for non-gamers, for sure. Number 1. This next game is one of my absolute favorite co-op games. Not only is it a great game to play with newbies, it's a great game to play with anybody. The Mind. It can be maddeningly difficult, so if you've got some younger kids that haven't learned how to lose gracefully yet, you might want to save it until they're older. But this game is addictive in the simple challenge it poses. And I feel like it plays differently every time you change one player at the table, so it's always going to stay fresh. Easy to teach, easy to play, damn near impossible to win. The Mind isn't just a great gateway game, it's one of the very best games, period. And an honorable mention to my personal gateway game, Betrayal at House on the Hill. I got lucky with a really great haunt the first time I played it and was instantly hooked. And it's a big reason modern board games are such a huge part of my life today. Haven't had a chance to try out the new 3rd edition yet to see what kind of improvements they've made to it, but the RNG in the 1st and 2nd editions at least probably makes it a little more miss than hit in terms of being a good introduction to board games for most people, especially if they have the misfortune of playing the Traitor their first time. That is my list of some of the best board games to introduce non-gamers to the hobby. But what I really want to know is what you think. What was your gateway game? What game do you use to lure unsuspecting normies into the realm of cardboard and neoprene? Tippy type your favorite gateway games into the comments down below. And while you're at it, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and ding that notification bell. And don't miss our live show, The Board and Barrel, right here and on Twitch every Sunday night at 5 p.m. Pacific Time. Find all the places where we do all our stuff at www.bnbtable.top. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you Sunday.